The weapon mastery challenges, those calling cards and emblems that have been in the works for a very long time, starting with a post back in early January. Well, they're here now with Season 4, only 5 months later. I spoke briefly about them when I covered the update. Now I want to go into great detail, as I am wont to do. First of all, let's all be on the same page. How exactly do you earn them? I have now added a new tab to the tracker sheet. Very exciting, I know. I copied all the challenges over so you can read them all here and paste the check mark around to track progress as usual. That'll be handy for all the 0 people who are actually going to go for the Grandmaster calling card. Oh well, it's here if you want to go for a few of them. As a basic overview, every weapon requires 2,500 kills and 1,000 headshots. Because these two challenges don't track at the same time, it's one after the other, so you have to add them together, and I opted to put the total number on the sheet. Then the emblems are a bit more interesting and more reasonable. Some of the type of stuff I wanted to see, like attachment combinations, the snipers needing a few quick scopes and no scopes is pretty funny. The challenges are mostly the same within each weapon class, with a couple little variations. There is some annoying stuff too. I mean, what a meme to require mounted long shots, and launchers require long shots? Interesting, but alright, at least these make sense as challenges for the most part. I won't go and read everything, that would get very boring. I am missing a couple things since I don't have every DLC gun gold. A few of these I got from asking for help in our wonderful Discord server. Thank you, friends, and I can fill in the rest when I know what those challenges are, but no big deal until then, really. You can assume that they're similar to the rest of them, and if you're going for it, then you'll have it unlocked and you'll see what they are. If you do absolutely everything for all 51 weapons, that means DLC guns included. It looks like the 51st weapon is the sticks, and not the upcoming Rytech AMR. I don't know if that will also get calling cards created for it, maybe not. But if you do all that, you will get the Grandmaster calling card and a sticker. That's what we got going on, so I think it's already opinion time. Alright, what a monumental misunderstanding of what grinders were looking for. How disappointing. It's embarrassing to have put this out and expected people to react positively, to be this out of touch with what it is people enjoy about a grind like this one. Just ask one of us, please, we'll tell you. I know people have different ideas of what fun is. I'm not saying let a random fan make all your game decisions, but there are some things we all agree are not fun in a grindy challenge, and evidently they don't have someone who completely gets it, calling the shots. Where do I even begin? Clearly, the biggest flaw with this execution is that the kills and headshots are not retroactive. I said it leading up to this update, that was really the make or break part of this whole thing. Because like I said in the Season 4 video, I was sent the data mine challenges way back when the cards first popped up in the files. I knew they were sounding pretty crazy, but my opinion completely hinged on if there was going to be retroactive progress. Turns out, no. Can't say I'm too surprised, but if it were retroactive, there would at least be some interest in this among the hardcore grinders. There are people who would have done it. Like if this system were in the game at launch, it would have been pretty awesome, and I think I might actually have the calling card right about now, if that were the case. I would have gone hard on shipment whenever it came around, and locked in that no-life calling card. I want to be clear, there's a lot I like about this system. The organization of it, all the cards and emblems I think are well put together, it's clean, it looks like something that would be fun. But none of that matters at all because it's so off target to be dropping this in June, expecting people to start from scratch. It's disrespectful, really. Who is this update for? Because to the no-life grinders that you'd think this update is primarily for, you're telling them all their tens of thousands of kills they want to show off, through means of a mastery card maybe, are now worth nothing. And to the more casual player, well, something like this was never really a main interest to them, but if they mainly use 1 or 2 guns, it might be nice to find they have a card unlocked for that. What's even worse about how this went down is dropping it a month after the addition of the Obsidian grind. Like this in-game pop-up I got makes it sound like Obsidian is new, and they were both added at the same time. Yeah, well, that would have been better, but the way it really happened is a month ago you said, hey grinders, here's this ultimate camo to go for, have fun. I had my own issues with the fun factor of that challenge, but then now you drop these cards and say, oh yeah, all that effort you put into that was completely wasted if you also want to grind for this thing. You could have done them both at the same time, but too bad, so do it again now. No mastery cards for you. Oops. Have fun, it's something to shoot for, that's what you wanted, right? Incredibly tone-deaf and disrespectful to those people. Like this is Hammy, a well-known camo grinding god, smashed through the base Obsidian guns in just a couple weeks. He also did the math on the sheer number of kills required for this new grind, but 120k at peak efficiency. So really you could easily be pushing 150,000, and that's not including the 1,000 aerial shootdowns with every launcher. That's 10 times what Obsidian was. Enjoy the Joker and RPG for that. Fun times. So when you have him saying he has no interest in this insanity, I ask again, who was this update for? It's cool and all that the menus were developed and the art was created and everything was nicely set in place, but it's all for nothing. Nobody's doing this, unless it's only to earn a few things here and there. The total mastery goal is unrealistic and unfun because of the lost progress. A lot of people were really looking forward to this update, and this wasn't it. If you're one of the few people who maybe wants to grind Modern Warfare for years into the future, and you love that this is a ton to do because you have no interest in the yearly CoD cycle, more power to you, enjoy. But clearly they didn't put all this dev time into this update just to please 50 people and piss off 50,000. So what do I think should be changed? What should be done now? Can it be saved? Well, I think it should clearly not require gold to get started. That way it can just be about your career kills and headshots with the weapon. It's totally cool if you need gold to work on the emblem challenges. Like, those things don't need to be retroactive at all. Obviously, there's no way they could track that retroactively because they're sequential and involve some unique combinations of things. That's fine for that to be a new challenge. I don't think anybody really has a problem with those. But this massive kill grind not being retroactive is laughable at this point in the life cycle. Additionally, they could take a closer look at some of those numbers. It's a little weird to see no customization between the weapon classes when it comes to the kills and headshots, only when they absolutely needed to, like for the melee and launchers, but like shotgun headshots being the same as ARs, being the same as snipers. I guess that's because they were going full Modern Warfare 2, and fair enough, I guess. And I think it's okay for it to be really hard. If this were retroactive, I wouldn't be complaining. Except for maybe the 1,000 launcher shootdowns. Sheesh, there could be some touching up there to keep it fun, because that should be the point of it, being fun. But again, that isn't the main problem here. You gotta back count those kills. There's also one different thing I think they could do, and it's maybe the easier thing they could do. It isn't about directly fixing this system, but if they at least added an Obsidian Mastery camo for having every base weapon Obsidian, that would give something to the people who went wild with the Obsidian grind and now have no interest in starting over with this craziness. I just think it really sucks for those guys to not get anything. It isn't like they said there was something at the end of the grind, but with World War II's Chrome Tiger setting the bar, it is what we've come to expect, and they did it with the calling cards, so why not with the camo? I don't know how open they are to making big changes to this system. I would guess not very, but we'll see, because it's a shame for them to have put all that time into such a flop of a challenge. Now, moving on to a more personal note as far as my plans and my grinding so far in this game and some other thoughts. In case it wasn't incredibly obvious, I won't be grinding this, I have no interest. I think even if it were made retroactive, that would be massive, and I would no longer be complaining about it, because I think that is what it badly needs for anyone to be interested. But for me personally, I'd still be very far off, and it's gotten too late for me to want to get into that big of an extra grind. And that's totally fine. Like I said, it doesn't have to be catered to exactly how much I want to grind. It just wouldn't be for me, and I'll move on. Back about a month ago, whenever there was a half week of shipment 10v10, I actually did grind pretty hard. I still thought it might be fun to get some Obsidian camos in case there was a Mastery camo added at some point, and in those few days, I knocked out everything I thought was made much easier by 10v10. I did the shield and the knife, I did all the shotguns, I did all the launchers except the Joker, because you need some time to lock on with that thing, and I finished off with a good handful of the pistols. That was a third of the obby camos knocked out pretty darn efficiently. Not that I'm really a third of the way there, because I picked some of the fastest weapon types to do first, but that was a good chunk of progress. Then after that, I just completely lost interest, after really questioning why I was doing something so incredibly pointless, and I straight up didn't open the game until the next update to check out a bit of Spec Ops and Warzone. Not that I even felt burnt out, I just had no goals to care about. And now they drop this as the long-anticipated Mastery Cards update, and it's an even more extreme Mastery challenge that also nullifies all the effort we put into Obsidian, which I only enjoyed doing, hoping it would count towards a Mastery thing. Yeah, I can only imagine how it feels for people with more Obsidian progress than me. Nobody wants to start from scratch. It's just absurd that they thought this would be interesting to people, to repeat what they already did and feel like they deserve credit for doing. Personally, it's not like I'm broken up about it. I'm critiquing this update because it's how I feel about it. But really, I'm fine with not having a big thing to grind in this game. I'm happy to just play it casually, go through the seasonal content, the events, and move on. I know I grind some pointless stuff sometimes, because that's part of what I find fun about it, doing something that everyone else would find too crazy to do. Well, not this time. Too much, too late. Like, to look at CoD World War II, maybe my most grinded CoD, I ended at exactly 100,000 kills on the combat record at level 1000. I actually had 140,000 kills or something like that when you include the War Game mode, which was tracked separately. But that's about the limit I'm willing to go to for a CoD game, and this grind would be more than that. If this system were there from the beginning, I think I would have actually gone for it, like I said. But I'm not going to start playing catch-up now, because there were other factors that kept me interested in World War II. That's the thing, I had other goals. The dailies were more engaging because I was going to hit 1 million armory credits. The pointless reticle grind I found engaging because it had good pacing. I was able to check things off and move on to another thing fairly quickly. That kept it fresh. And there was permanent shipment 24/7, so there was no FOMO in it coming and going, forcing me to go super hard in the week that is around and burn out. And the World War II shipment gameplay was actually decent. With the angled containers and a spawn algorithm that actually had a shred of logic to it, shipment actually felt like gameplay in World War II. I had a semblance of control. I dropped a few V2s. Not in this game. It is mindless clicking, which is a little satisfying on some level to be efficient and have the illusion of accomplishing something while watching a show, but that's all. It certainly isn't fun on its own. And finally, in World War II, I found myself getting within reach of level 1000. Another thing not in this game. Only a weird, tucked away total level number that doesn't mean much at all when that number doesn't display anywhere, like as your rank after hitting 155 would be nice. And also, you don't know how much XP goes into each level since that changes between seasons, so who really knows what that number means, and who really cares? Bottom line, there were other things that kept me playing that game. These long-term grinds are only fun if it's one of multiple reasons for playing. Modern Warfare lacks many of those. There are temporary things to do each season. For example, while I'm working on the ribbon challenges, I probably will earn some of the emblem challenges, since those are pretty reasonable, and some of them are interesting in what you have to do for them, and the pacing is good in that area, in how quickly you're able to finish one thing and move on to the next. I think that's a big deal. So that's the plan. I think I'll earn a few weapon emblems here and there, but only while I'm doing the seasonal stuff, then I'll go do something else. The World War II level 1000 journey had a story to it. That's why it was fun to come back a year later and finish it off like I promised I would, and I got to edit together that fun video for it. It was the end of an era. With this grind, there is no story to tell. It would just be a single video, God knows how long from now, with me saying, "Hey guys, I did it. Look at how much of a loser I am. Wow, cool sticker. Okay, see you in the next video." I would honestly not be proud of myself if I did this grind. That's what it comes down to, you know? This grind is not what I want to do with my life. I have other things I want to accomplish. Or other pointless things to grind that are just more fun. I don't want to waste away in a chair doing something that matters this little. The golden rule I always come back to is only do it if it's fun, because it's a game. Whenever I get the weird question from people of, is this worth it? Like, is Damascus worth it? Well, it was obviously worth it to me. It's worth it to you if you think it is. That's all. Why do you think I would have the answer to that question? I don't know how you feel about it, how you like spending your time, and how much you would enjoy having done it. If it's fun for you, then do it. Otherwise, don't. And the design choices they've landed on with this update make it clearly not fun. I think I've probably covered that by now. Yeah, I think so. You can see how I can ramble about this stuff forever. Truly astounding. Well, I think no need to repeat myself any further. I've gone over what I think the issues are, and what I think they could do to improve the situation. Some changes more possible than others. We'll see if anything happens to it. I'm not holding my breath, but it'd be nice for the people who were still looking forward to this update to actually get something out of it. And it'd be nice for the devs who put all the art and systems together to not have wasted their time. I guess I don't really care either way, but they had this update in the works for so long, and it's a shame for none of it to matter to almost everyone. I guess I felt kind of similarly about the Accolade update. Who ever looks at these? Who cares? They look cool, but why? They're so meaningless. Alright, that's everything. Now I can shift my focus to the other new challenges of Season 4. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.